YouTubers, this is Epiphone Thunderbird bass, 2003, made in Korea. Is that the Yusung or the Yusung plant? This was bought new by my friend G in 2003. So I know it's not been used very much, very little wear on it. I wouldn't say it was mint condition. I never really had a proper case for it. I used to keep it in a keyboard case. There's a wee dink there, and there's a wee dink on the head somewhere. I can't remember where. But the tip there, a bit of a scuff. I might polish it actually. But so I said I would sell it for him because he's never really played it. So I had to adjust the truss rod quite a bit on this bass actually. Even it's amazing to show, just like you can obviously buy these things quite cheaply on eBay and the like, but unless you've had someone who knows what they're doing with it. This one was like, you know, I know for a fact, he's my best pal, that this is basically just sat in its case for out of the 10, 13 years it's been going, for 12 of those 13 years, you know, it's only been out, I don't know, 10 times or something like that probably. I think maybe he took it out of the studio once and maybe had a jam right up here with it before. In fact, I think the last time it was out was about 3 years ago. I made a Firebird guitar and I drew around this very bass to get the shape for the body. Yeah, but so the action was massive. Like I think I just went in, because I've worked with so many guitars recently, I just know it's the truss rod. So I went in and adjusted the truss rod, and I think what happens with these guitars is, see when they're new, like the wood hasn't dried yet properly, so it plays fine for a couple of years, but then the reason the truss rod's there is to counteract, you know, the strings over time pulling the neck up. So if you've got like a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old bass that's never been adjusted and it's always had strings on it, it's going to need adjusted. It doesn't matter whether it's an epiphone or whether it's a, you know, even more so on like a, you know, like a cheap bass, but on like even like a, you know, if this was a Gibson, the £1,000 one, it's still the same thing. It's still going to, from you, it's going to have. So basically, getting it adjusted. These are epiphone, are very long scale. I don't know. There's my measuring tape lying about. I don't think it's an extremely long. I think it's just 34 inches, same as a P bass, but it feels very long. Probably just to do with the shape of the body and the fact that the headstock's really long as well. 34.5 inch. 34.25 inch. So it's slightly longer scale than a Fender. But, not as much as it feels. I would say 6. See, because I don't know if it's something to do with string tension, maybe just being a wee bit longer, or having this bit of it there steady. It's much easier to bend notes. As I said, I was there when my pal bought this brand new for 280 quid. I noticed if you actually go and look at a new Epiphone one, they're not actually as expensive as that brand new. You think, oh, that's funny how they've gone down in price. I wonder how they've done that. I would put money on it that the guitar probably costs a quarter as much to make as this one. I've noticed that with the Gibsons and the SG, when my SG, if it's a 90s one, they brought out the one that looked very similar to that. That was like, I don't know, 700-800 quid when it went in the shops when I was looking at them, and then started bringing them out at 500 quid. It's like, oh, it's an SG special, and how come it's cheaper? And it's like, even though it's a later on time, surely it should have gone up, but it's like totally, it's half as good. You know, you can just look at it and you just know. It's just like, alright, you can see why it's cheaper. So if you're buying I'd imagine, I've not actually played one of the modern ones. I'd imagine they're probably made in China now. But 13 years and actually the price has gone down. this one I would imagine, well, it's mahogany, you can sort of see that, it's very nice grain actually. I mentioned it was a bolt on. But that's really the only difference between this and the Gibson one, I would think. Pretty much, I think the Gibson one's like £1,000 or £2,000. But I've played, I was looking at one they had, it was a 5-string Thunderbird Epiphone Pro or something it was called. I think it was about 400 quid. And it was like it was neck through and you could see it all and stuff like that. And it looked lovely from a distance to see when you actually played it. It wasn't as good a guitar as this. I know that's probably quite controversial because they are expensive and they do look totally cool. But just the build, the finish quality and stuff like that, it didn't. So this is going up for sale. I'll probably just put it on the Facebook site first, so I don't have to bother trying to post it. I'll probably put it a good bit cheaper on. I was a bit disappointed actually how much this was actually going to be worth. I thought it was going to be worth 250, 300 quid, but they just don't go for that amount of money. It's a shame. Because out of all the different types of basses you get, and look at the flame on it and stuff. The one you see, well, I've not actually seen it in person, but the one you see on the Epiphone basses, they look like that. You see very, very little. I mean, that dent I was talking about, where is it there? There, it's not exactly a biggie. I've not actually polished this either. I gave it a bit of a wipe. Yeah, so Thunderbird. And of all the basses you can get, I've said this before. Every time I've got a bass out, basses are always minging to look at. The Thunderbird's good. I like the P bass, and that's kind of it. I like the SG bass, EBO. They never used to get them though. They weren't very common. And all the other basses I've got, I'm not really that keen. See the ones that all look some, sort of Warwicks and stuff. Beep beep. All the Warwicks are kind of look like a melted sweetie, sort of modern. Yeah, don't like them at all. So I would have one of these. Actually, I did have one of these. I think if you look back at my videos, I bought one of these in cash converters in terrible condition with a big chip out it. But because G had this one, I just sold it on. Good bass. Rock and roll.